The sharp pain in Jack Thompson's abdomen came without warning as he navigated his small cargo ship through the asteroid field. He doubled over, dropping the controls momentarily. The ship lurched dangerously, nearly colliding with a spinning rock the size of a house. "Computer, engage autopilot," he gasped, clutching his stomach. The pain was unlike anything he'd experienced before, hot, stabbing, and persistent. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he stumbled to the small medical cabinet near his bunk. Jack had been making this solo run from Earth to the mining colonies on Ganymede for 3 years now. The route was familiar, the dangers predictable. But this pain, this was new and frightening. The medical scanner he ran over his abdomen showed elevated temperature and strange activity in his digestive tract, but nothing conclusive. "Great," he muttered, injecting himself with a general analgesic. "Just what I need in the middle of nowhere." The pain subsided enough for him to check his coordinates. He was at least 2 days from any human outpost. However, according to his navigation system, there was an alien medical station less than 6 hours away, a Xanthi outpost, if he remembered correctly. The Xanthi were one of the first alien species humans had made contact with 50 years ago, known for their advanced medical technology. Jack hesitated. Going off course meant delays, paperwork, and possibly losing his bonus for on-time delivery. But as another wave of pain hit him, decision-making became remarkably simple. "Computer, set course for Outpost Xanthi 12, he commanded, gritting his teeth. "Medical emergency." The ship acknowledged with a soft chime and adjusted course. Jack collapsed onto his bunk, trying to breathe through the pain. Something was seriously wrong inside him, and he needed help before it was too late. 5 hours later, his ship docked at a gleaming white structure floating in space. Through the viewports, Jack could see the distinctive architecture of Xanthi design, all curved surfaces and iridescent materials that seemed to shift color depending on the angle of light. A docking tube extended from the station and sealed against his airlock. Jack gathered his strength to stand, clutching his abdomen as he made his way to the airlock. The pain had intensified over the journey, and now he could barely walk upright. When the airlock cycled open, he was met by 2 tall, slender figures. The Xanthi stood about 7 feet tall, with pale blue skin that had a faint luminescent quality. Their 4-fingered hands moved with precision as they helped Jack onto a hovering stretcher. "Human requires immediate medical attention," one said in slightly accented English. The translator device on its throat pulsed with each word. "I am Medical Officer Ziv. This is very unusual. Why have you come alone?" "Cargo run," Jack managed to say between labored breaths. "Started. Hurting. Bad. You were closest." The second Xanthi, with darker blue skin and what looked like gold markings along its elongated skull, scanned Jack with a handheld device. Its large, pupil-less eyes widened. "Severe internal infection detected," it said, its voice higher-pitched than Ziv's. "Multiple foreign organisms present throughout the digestive tract. Containment protocols necessary, Ziv." Jack felt a spike of fear. What's wrong with me?" The 2 Xanthi exchanged glances, then Ziv spoke. "Do not be alarmed, human. I am the station's senior medical officer. This is my assistant, medical technician Lorne. We will treat your condition, but we must institute quarantine procedures." The stretcher moved rapidly through gleaming corridors. Jack noticed other Xanthi personnel stepping quickly out of the way, some of them pressing themselves against walls as if afraid of contamination. They entered a sealed chamber that Jack immediately recognized as an isolation room. The walls were transparent, allowing observation from an adjoining room where several Xanthi in protective gear were already gathering. Please remain calm, Ziv said as Lorne began attaching monitoring devices to Jack's body. Your vital signs show significant distress, but we have experience with human physiology. Not much experience, Lorne muttered, adjusting settings on what appeared to be an advanced diagnostic scanner suspended from the ceiling. This is only the third human I have treated. Jack grimaced as another wave of pain hit him. Just fix it, whatever it is. The scanner hummed to life, projecting a three-dimensional hologram of Jack's internal organs above the bed. The Xanthi studied it intently, their expressions hard for Jack to read with their alien features, but their body language suggested growing concern. This is worse than I anticipated, Ziv said, pointing to several areas in Jack's digestive tract that were highlighted in red. The infection is widespread. His entire digestive system is compromised. Lorne moved closer to the hologram. These organisms are throughout the intestinal tract, billions of them. Multiple species, too. How is he still functioning? Jack tried to focus on their conversation through his pain. What organisms? What's happening to me? Ziv turned to him, placing a cool, four-fingered hand on his shoulder. You have a severe bacterial infection throughout your digestive system. These organisms are consuming resources meant for your body and producing toxic byproducts. We must eliminate them immediately before they cause organ failure. Wait, Jack said, alarmed at how clinical and certain the alien doctor sounded. You mean I have some kind of gut infection? Food poisoning? This is far more serious than what you call food poisoning, Lorne said, preparing what looked like medical equipment. These organisms have colonized your entire digestive tract. They must have been reproducing inside you for years. Jack tried to sit up but was gently restrained by Ziv. Years. That doesn't make sense. I just started feeling sick today. The infection has likely reached a critical mass, Ziv explained patiently. We will need to flush your system and introduce targeted antimicrobials to eliminate these organisms. Before Jack could protest further, Lorne approached with something that looked uncomfortably like a large syringe. This will temporarily sedate you while we begin treatment. The procedure may be uncomfortable. Jack's instincts were screaming that something wasn't right. Wait. I don't think this is an infection. Humans have gut bacteria naturally. It's normal. Ziv and Lorne exchanged glances again. That cannot be correct, Ziv said firmly. No sentient species would naturally harbor billions of foreign organisms in their digestive tract. The risk of sepsis would be too great. I'm telling you it's normal, Jack insisted, trying again to sit up. Look it up in your medical database. Humans have symbiotic gut bacteria. We need them to digest food. Lorne looked skeptical but moved to a nearby console. I will verify this claim. Ziv seemed less willing to delay treatment. We cannot risk waiting while these organisms potentially spread to vital organs. Just check, Jack pleaded. Please. Lorne's fingers moved rapidly over the console, accessing the station's medical database. After a moment, the alien's posture changed subtly. Ziv, the human may be correct. There are references here to something called a microbiome in Earth species. It says humans host approximately 100 trillion microorganisms in their digestive tracts normally. Ziv moved to the console, clearly shocked. That cannot be right. Check again. Jack felt a momentary relief that quickly gave way to renewed pain. It's true, but something's still wrong with me. This pain isn't normal. Lorne continued reading from the database. It says these microorganisms assist with digestion, synthesize vitamins, and help train the immune system. Disrupting this microbiome can cause severe health problems in humans. Ziv turned back to Jack, visibly processing this new information. If this is true, then our standard treatment would be catastrophic for you. Great, Jack groaned. So what is wrong with me? Lorne adjusted the scanner settings. If these organisms are normal, we need to look for other causes of your distress. The holographic display shifted, focusing now on different parameters. After a few moments, Lorne pointed to a small area in the lower right quadrant of Jack's abdomen. There, this organ is severely inflamed. Ziv studied the image. The appendix, a vestigial organ in humans. According to our database, inflammation of this structure is called appendicitis and requires surgical intervention. Jack's eyes widened. Surgery? Here. We are fully equipped to perform this procedure, Ziv assured him. It is relatively simple compared to many we routinely handle. The risk is minimal, especially compared to the risk of not treating it. If this organ ruptures, it will release harmful bacteria into your abdominal cavity. But you just learned humans are supposed to have bacteria in them, Jack said, still not entirely reassured. In specific locations, yes, Lorne explained. Not freely in your abdominal cavity. That would indeed cause a dangerous infection. Jack closed his eyes briefly, weighing his options. The pain was getting worse, and he knew appendicitis was serious. He was days away from human medical help. Okay, he finally said. Do the surgery, but please no antibacterial flush of my entire system. We will be precise, Ziv promised. Now we must prepare you for surgery immediately. Your appendix shows signs of imminent rupture. The next few minutes were a blur of activity. Jack's clothes were removed. His abdomen was cleaned with some kind of solution that felt cool against his skin, and monitoring devices were attached to various parts of his body. I am administering anesthesia now, Lorne said, approaching with a different device. You will lose consciousness within seconds. When you wake, the dangerous organ will be removed and your pain should be significantly reduced. Jack felt a cool sensation spreading from his arm throughout his body, and then darkness claimed him. When Jack awoke, the sharp pain in his abdomen had been replaced by a dull ache. His mouth was dry and his thoughts felt sluggish. He blinked several times, trying to focus on his surroundings. The isolation chamber looked different. The transparent walls had been reconfigured to give him a view of what appeared to be a small medical bay. Ziv was standing nearby, studying a holographic display of what Jack assumed were his vital signs. The human is conscious, Ziv called out, and Lorne appeared in Jack's field of vision. How do you feel? Lorne asked, running a scanner over Jack's body. Thirsty, Jack managed to say, and sore, but the pain is better. Ziv nodded. The surgery was successful. We removed the inflamed appendix before it could rupture. You are fortunate you diverted to our station when you did. Lorne helped Jack take a few sips of water through a straw. Your microbiome appears to be functioning normally. It is truly remarkable that humans have evolved such a complex symbiotic relationship with these microorganisms. Jack managed a weak smile. Never thought I'd have to convince doctors not to cure me of something I need to live. It has been educational for us as well, Ziv said. While you were unconscious, I consulted with our central medical database. It seems this information about human microbiomes was in our records, but not prominently featured in our emergency treatment protocols for humans. That's concerning, Jack said. I have already filed a report recommending updates to our protocols, Ziv assured him. Your experience has potentially saved future human patients from inappropriate treatment. Jack tried to sit up but found himself still weak from the surgery. Lorne gently helped adjust his position to make him more comfortable. How long was I out? Jack asked. Approximately 6 hours, Lorne replied. The procedure itself took only 40 minutes, but we wanted to allow you sufficient time to recover from the anesthesia. Jack thought about his delivery schedule, already blown by this medical emergency. How long until I can get back to my ship? The two Xanthi exchanged glances again, a gesture Jack was starting to recognize as their way of communicating concern. Human recovery from abdominal surgery requires more time than you may be anticipating, Ziv said carefully. While our techniques are less invasive than traditional human surgery, you will still need at least 3 days of recovery before it would be safe for you to pilot your vessel. Jack groaned. 3 days. My cargo is already going to be late. We have taken the liberty of sending a notification to your employer, Lorne said. We explained that you required emergency medical intervention and provided the necessary documentation for insurance purposes. Jack was surprised. You did all that while I was unconscious. Of course, Ziv said, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Standard protocol for all patients. We also performed a more comprehensive scan of your microbiome while you were sedated, as we realized our knowledge in this area was inadequate. Jack wasn't sure how to feel about that. On one hand, it seemed like an invasion of privacy. On the other hand, their curiosity might help future human patients. What did you learn? He asked finally. Lorne seemed eager to share. Your microbiome is extraordinarily complex. You harbor over 500 different species of bacteria, plus fungi and viruses that appear to be non-pathogenic. Some produce vitamins your body cannot synthesize on its own. Others break down compounds in your food that would otherwise be indigestible. It is a remarkable example of coevolution. Do Xanthi not have gut bacteria? Jack asked, genuinely curious now. No, Ziv said. Our digestive systems produce all necessary enzymes internally. We have immune cells that patrol our digestive tracts to eliminate any microorganisms that enter with our food. That's why we initially interpreted your microbiome as a massive infection, Lorne added. In a Xanthi, such a bacterial presence would indeed be life-threatening. Jack nodded, understanding their perspective better now. Well, I'm glad you checked before flushing out all my helpful little friends. As are we, Ziv said solemnly. Such an action would have caused you severe health problems. Your body would be unable to properly digest food or absorb nutrients. You would have suffered malnutrition, immune dysfunction, and potentially life-threatening complications. This raises interesting questions about human space travel, Lorne mused. How do you maintain your microbiome during long journeys? Does it change when you consume different foods on different planets? Jack shrugged. I'm just a cargo hauler, not a biologist, but I do take probiotic supplements on longer runs. Most human ships have them as standard medical supplies. Ziv made a note on a datapad. This information should be added to our protocols. In the event, we must treat humans with antibiotics for actual infections. We should ensure we have these probiotics available to help restore their microbiome afterward. As they continued discussing the implications of human gut bacteria, Jack felt his eyelids growing heavy again. The post-surgical fatigue was catching up with him. You should rest now, Lorne said, noticing Jack's drowsiness. Your body needs to heal. We will continue this fascinating discussion when you are stronger. Jack didn't argue. He closed his eyes, grateful that his appendix had been removed before it could rupture, and equally grateful that his microbiome remained intact. As he drifted off to sleep, he wondered how many other biological differences between species remained undiscovered, and how many misunderstandings could arise from those differences. When Jack next awoke, he felt significantly better. The room was dimmer than before, simulating night cycle. A different Xanthi medical technician was monitoring his vitals. "Good evening, Jack Thompson," the new Xanthi said. "I am medical technician Vril. How are you feeling?" "Better," Jack said, surprised at how much stronger his voice sounded. "How long was I asleep?" "Nearly 14 hours, Vril replied. "Your body required the rest for healing. Your vital signs have improved considerably." Jack carefully shifted position, testing the limits of his post-surgical pain. It was still there, but manageable. "Is Ziv around, or Lorne?" "They will return during the day cycle," Vril explained. "Would you like some nutrition? We have synthesized appropriate human food that will support your recovery and benefit your microbiome." Jack realized he was indeed hungry. "Yes, please, and maybe something to drink besides water." Vril nodded and went to retrieve Jack's meal. While waiting, Jack noticed that the isolation protocols seemed to have been relaxed. The transparent barriers were retracted, and Vril wasn't wearing protective gear. When Vril returned with a tray, Jack commented on this change. "I see I'm not considered a walking bacterial bomb anymore." Vril's translator took a moment to process this. "Ah, you refer to the initial quarantine protocols. Yes, once we understood that your microbiome is normal for humans, we adjusted our approach. We are still maintaining certain precautions, as some of your microorganisms could potentially colonize our equipment if not properly managed." Jack looked at the food on the tray. It appeared to be a bowl of something like porridge, a cup of yellowish liquid, and what might have been fruit, though not any variety he recognized. "This is designed to be gentle on your digestive system while providing necessary nutrients," Vril explained. "The beverage contains compounds similar to what humans call electrolytes. The food includes probiotic fibers to support your microbiome." Jack took a cautious taste of the porridge. It was bland but not unpleasant, with a slightly sweet, nutty flavor. "Not bad," he said. "Better than emergency rations on my ship." Vril seemed pleased. "We have been studying human nutritional needs since you arrived. It is fascinating how your diet must support both your cells and your microbial symbionts." As Jack ate, Vril continued monitoring his vital signs and making notes. "Your recovery rate is impressive. Ziv predicted you might be able to return to your vessel in 3 days, but at this rate, you may be cleared for travel even sooner." "That's good news," Jack said between bites. "Though I have to admit, the accommodations here are nicer than my ship." "We pride ourselves on patient care," Vril said. "Though your case has been particularly educational for our entire medical staff." Jack finished his meal and leaned back. "I'm guessing you don't get many human patients out here." "You are only the 3rd human treated at this station," Vril confirmed. "And the first with an acute condition requiring surgical intervention. The others were routine treatments for minor injuries." "Lucky me," Jack said with a slight smile. "Indeed fortunate that you recognized the severity of your condition and sought treatment promptly," Vril said, missing Jack's sarcasm. "Ziv has been consulting with other medical stations about your case. There is considerable interest in human microbiome research now." Jack wasn't sure how to feel about becoming an inadvertent ambassador for human gut bacteria. "Happy to help advance interspecies medical knowledge, I guess." Vril collected the empty tray. "You should try to walk a short distance today if you feel able. Movement will aid your recovery. I can assist you when you are ready." With Vril's help, Jack managed to get out of bed and take a slow, careful walk around the medical bay. The movement was uncomfortable but not unbearable, and it felt good to stretch his legs after so much time lying down. As he walked, Jack noticed several other Xanthi medical personnel watching him with obvious curiosity. News of the human with the symbiotic gut bacteria had clearly spread throughout the station. "I feel like an exhibit at a zoo." Jack commented as he slowly made his circuit of the room. "I apologize if the attention is uncomfortable," Vril said. "Many of my colleagues have never encountered a human before, let alone one with such a biologically interesting feature." "It's fine," Jack assured him. "Just strange to think that something so normal for humans is fascinating to you." "This is why interspecies medical exchange is so valuable," Vril said earnestly. "What seems ordinary to one species may be extraordinary to another. These differences expand our understanding of life's diversity." By the time Jack completed his short walk, he was tired but satisfied with his progress. Vril helped him back to bed, adjusting the settings to make him more comfortable. "Rest now," Vril advised. "Ziv will examine you in the morning cycle to assess your recovery." Jack nodded, settling back against the pillows. Despite the circumstances, he found himself intrigued by this unexpected encounter with alien medicine. As he drifted off to sleep again, he wondered what other commonplace aspects of human biology might seem bizarre to his alien caretakers. The next morning, Jack was awakened by the sounds of activity in the medical bay. Ziv and Lorne had returned, along with several other Xanthi he hadn't seen before. They appeared to be engaged in some kind of medical conference, with holographic displays showing what Jack recognized as human anatomy. When Ziv noticed Jack was awake, the medical officer came over to his bedside. "Good morning, Jack Thompson. You are looking significantly improved today." "Feeling better too," Jack said, sitting up with only minimal discomfort. "What's happening over there? Looks like a class." "In a manner of speaking, yes," Ziv confirmed. "Your case has provided an excellent opportunity for education. We are updating our protocols for human treatment with particular emphasis on the microbiome." One of the other Xanthi approached, this one wearing elaborate insignia on its medical uniform. "Human Jack Thompson, I am Chief Medical Administrator Trell. May I express our gratitude for the valuable learning opportunity your condition has provided." Jack nodded awkwardly. You're welcome. Though I didn't exactly plan to have appendicitis at your doorstep." "Serendipitous nonetheless," Trell said. "We have already transmitted updated human treatment protocols to 17 other medical stations in this sector. Your experience will improve care for all humans seeking medical assistance from Xanthi facilities." "Glad something good came out of this," Jack said. "How's my recovery looking? Any chance I can get back to my ship soon?" Ziv performed a quick scan of Jack's abdomen. "Your surgical site is healing exceptionally well. The inflammation has resolved completely, and your microbiome appears to be functioning optimally." "So that's a yes," Jack pressed. "I believe you could safely return to your vessel tomorrow morning," Ziv said. "With certain restrictions on physical activity for another 7 days. No heavy lifting or strenuous exertion during that time." Jack grinned. "That's great news. My ship mostly flies itself anyway." "Before you leave, we would like to provide you with an updated medical package for your ship," Lorne added. "It includes detailed information about human microbiome maintenance and supplements specifically designed to support digestive health during space travel." "That's actually really thoughtful," Jack said, surprised by the gesture. "It is the least we can do," Trell said. "We have also taken the liberty of restocking your ship's medical supplies with improved versions based on our updated understanding of human physiology." Jack raised an eyebrow. "You've been on my ship with proper authorization," Ziv quickly assured him. "It is standard procedure to inspect a patient's living quarters when possible, to identify any environmental factors that might have contributed to their condition. We found nothing concerning, but did note that your medical supplies were somewhat outdated." Jack couldn't argue with that. His ship's medical kit was the basic model that came with the vessel when he bought it 3 years ago, and he'd never bothered upgrading it. "Well, thanks for the upgrades," he said. "What do I owe you for all this? The surgery, the care, the supplies." The Xanthi exchanged glances, then Trell spoke. "There will be no charge for your treatment or supplies. The medical knowledge we have gained from your case far outweighs any material costs incurred." Jack was stunned. "Seriously, that's incredibly generous. Knowledge exchange benefits all sentient species," Trell said simply. "We have learned from you. Perhaps you can share your experience with other humans, encouraging them to seek Xanthi medical assistance if needed in this sector." "I'll definitely spread the word," Jack promised. The remainder of the day passed with more medical examinations. Another assisted walk, this one longer and less painful than the first, and a steady stream of curious Xanthi medical personnel asking Jack questions about human digestion, diet, and health practices. By evening, Jack was tired but satisfied with his recovery progress. Ziv provided him with detailed instructions for post-surgical care once he returned to his ship, along with a supply of medications to manage any residual pain and support his healing. "Rest well tonight," Ziv advised. "If your condition remains stable, you will be cleared for departure after morning assessment." Jack slept soundly, waking the next morning feeling remarkably better. The surgical site was still tender, but the pain had diminished significantly. He was able to get out of bed and walk around the room without assistance. Ziv arrived to perform a final examination. "Your recovery continues to exceed expectations," the medical officer said, reviewing the scan results. "I am confident you can safely return to your vessel today. However, you must adhere to the activity restrictions I outlined yesterday. No heavy lifting, no strenuous activity for a week," Jack recited. "I got it. My cargo's mostly automated anyway." "Excellent," Ziv said, making a final note in Jack's medical file. "Lorne will escort you to your ship and ensure you have everything you need for your continued recovery." Lorne appeared with a small hover cart carrying what appeared to be medical supplies. "These are for you to take aboard your vessel," the medical technician explained. "Medications, nutritional supplements, and detailed instructions for maintaining optimal health during space travel." Jack was touched by the thoroughness of their care. "I don't know how to thank you all. You saved my life and then some. Your case has been invaluable to our understanding of human physiology," Lorne said. "The knowledge we gained will improve treatment for all humans who seek care at Xanthi medical facilities." As Jack prepared to leave, several of the Xanthi who had been involved in his care gathered to bid him farewell. Even Chief Medical Administrator Trell made an appearance. "Safe travels, Jack Thompson," Trell said formally. "Your microbiome and you are welcome at any Xanthi medical facility should you require assistance in the future." Jack couldn't help but smile at the phrasing. "Thank you. My bacteria and I appreciate your hospitality." Lorne escorted Jack through the station's corridors to the docking bay where his cargo ship waited. The walk was longer than Jack had anticipated, and he was feeling the strain by the time they arrived, but he managed without complaint. "Your ship has been maintained at optimal environmental conditions during your stay," Lorne explained as they approached. "We have also taken the liberty of refreshing your food supplies with items beneficial for post-surgical recovery and microbiome health." "You really thought of everything," Jack said, genuinely impressed. "It is our standard of care," Lorne replied simply. "Though I must admit, your case has been particularly fascinating from a medical perspective." When they reached Jack's ship, Lorne helped transfer the medical supplies aboard and provided one final review of the post-surgical care instructions. Remember to take the anti-inflammatory medication at the prescribed intervals, Lorne emphasized, and begin the probiotic supplements immediately. They will help maintain your microbiome balance, especially important after surgery. Jack nodded, storing the supplies in his ship's medical cabinet. Got it, and I promise to follow the activity restrictions. I have programmed your ship's computer to remind you of medication times, Lorne added, and included my direct communication code should you experience any complications during your journey. Jack was touched by this level of care. I really can't thank you enough, Lorne. You and Ziv saved my life, and I've learned more about my own biology in the past 3 days than in the previous 30 years. Lorne's expression was difficult to read with alien features, but Jack thought he detected something like pride. It has been an honor to treat you, Jack Thompson. Your case will be documented in our medical archives and will contribute to improved interspecies medical protocols. With final farewells exchanged, Jack sealed his ship's airlock and made his way carefully to the pilot's seat. As he initiated the undocking sequence, he saw Lorne and several other Xanthi watching from the station's observation window. Jack activated the communication system. Xanthi Medical Station, this is cargo ship Terra 9, requesting clearance for departure. Clearance granted, Terra 9, came the response. Safe journey, Jack Thompson. May your microbiome remain in perfect balance. Jack smiled as he guided his ship away from the station. Thank you, Xanthi Medical Station. I'll be sure to send you updates on how my bacteria and I are doing. As his ship accelerated away from the station and back toward his original course, Jack reflected on the strange turn his routine cargo run had taken. What had started as a potentially fatal medical emergency had turned into a valuable exchange of knowledge between species. He set the autopilot for Ganymede and carefully made his way back to his bunk. According to Lorne's instructions, he needed to rest for at least 8 hours before doing anything more strenuous than checking the ship's systems. As he settled onto his bunk, Jack picked up one of the information tablets the Xanthi had provided. It contained detailed information about the human microbiome, much of which was news to him, despite living with these organisms his entire life. He learned that his gut bacteria helped digest certain foods, produced essential vitamins, trained his immune system, and even influenced his mood and mental health. It was a complex ecosystem that had evolved alongside humans for millions of years. To think I never appreciated you little guys until now, Jack murmured, patting his stomach gently. His delivery to Ganymede would be late, but Jack had a feeling his employers would understand once they saw the medical documentation. And he had a great story to tell when he arrived how alien doctors had nearly cured him of something he couldn't live without, and how his appendicitis had inadvertently advanced interspecies medical knowledge. As his ship cruised through the vastness of space, Jack drifted off to sleep, comforted by the knowledge that trillions of tiny allies were working diligently inside him, helping him digest his food and recover from surgery. Sometimes, it seemed, the most important relationships were the ones you couldn't even see. 6 months later, Jack's cargo ship approached Xanthi Medical Station 12 once again. This time, however, it wasn't an emergency. He had deliberately planned this stop on his return journey from the outer colonies. Xanthi Medical Station, this is cargo ship Terra 9 requesting permission to dock, Jack transmitted. Non-emergency visit. There was a brief pause before a familiar voice responded. Terra 9, this is Medical Officer Ziv. Permission to dock granted. It is good to hear from you again, Jack Thompson. Jack smiled as he guided his ship toward the docking bay. After his recovery and return to Earth, He had kept in touch with Ziv and Lorne, sending them updates on his health and additional information about human microbiome research. What had begun as a medical emergency had evolved into an ongoing scientific exchange. When Jack disembarked from his ship, he was greeted by both Ziv and Lorne, along with Chief Medical Administrator Trell. "Welcome back to our station, Jack Thompson," Trell said formally. "Your continued cooperation has been invaluable to our research." Jack handed over a small container he'd brought from Earth. "I brought something for your research team. These are the latest human probiotic formulations developed specifically for long-duration space travel. Earth Space Medical Authority just approved them last month." Lorne accepted the container with obvious excitement. "This is most generous. Our research team will be eager to analyze these." "How has your recovery progressed?" Ziv asked, professional concern evident in his voice. "Completely back to normal," Jack assured him. "The surgical site healed perfectly, and according to my last medical checkup on Earth, my microbiome is thriving." "Excellent news," Ziv said. "Would you permit us to perform a follow-up scan? It would provide valuable data on long-term recovery." Jack nodded. "That's partly why I'm here. I figured you'd want to see how your patient turned out." As they walked through the station toward the medical bay, Jack noticed significant changes. There were now multilingual signs throughout the corridors, including Earth Standard English. One section they passed had been labeled Human Treatment Center, with additional notes about microbiome-conscious care. "You've made some changes," Jack observed. "Indeed," Trell confirmed. "Since your case, we have treated 27 human patients at this station alone. Our updated protocols have been implemented throughout the Xanthi Medical Network." Jack was surprised. 27. "I didn't realize so many humans came through this sector." "Word has spread of our expertise in human care," Lorne explained proudly. "Several commercial shipping companies now specifically direct their human crews to seek treatment at Xanthi facilities if medical needs arise in this region." In the medical bay, Jack submitted to a comprehensive scan. Unlike his first visit, there was no talk of quarantine or dangerous infections. The Xanthi medical team now worked with full knowledge of human microbiome requirements. After the scan, Ziv showed Jack the results on a holographic display. "Your recovery is indeed complete. The surgical site shows perfect healing, and your microbiome profile indicates excellent diversity and balance. Your case study has been published in the Interspecies Medical Journal," Lorne added. "It has become required reading for all medical personnel treating non-Xanthi patients." Jack felt a strange pride at this news. "So my appendicitis actually changed how aliens treat humans." "More than that," Trell said. "It prompted a comprehensive review of our assumptions about all species biology. We now approach each new species with consideration for potential symbiotic relationships that might be normal for their physiology." "That's actually incredible," Jack said, genuinely moved. "I had no idea my emergency stop would have such an impact." "Science advances through unexpected discoveries," Ziv said philosophically. "Your case reminded us of an important principle in medicine. What is pathological in one species may be essential in another." After completing the follow-up examination, Jack was invited to address a group of Xanthi medical students who were studying interspecies medicine. He shared his experience as a patient and answered questions about human biology and culture. One student asked a question that made Jack pause. "Human Jack Thompson, do you consider the microorganisms in your digestive tract to be part of you or separate entities that you host?" Jack had never considered this philosophical question before. "That's an interesting way to think about it, I guess. Both." They're not human cells, but I couldn't live without them, and they couldn't live without me. We've evolved together for so long that the line between me and them is pretty blurry." The student seemed satisfied with this answer, making notes on a datapad. After the session with the students, Jack joined Ziv, Lorne, and Trell for a meal specially prepared to accommodate human dietary needs. "We have established a permanent human nutrition program at this station," Trell explained as they ate. "All medical personnel are now trained in foods that support human microbiome health." "I'm honored," Jack said, sampling a dish that tasted remarkably like a vegetable stir-fry. "Though I never expected to become the poster boy for human gut bacteria." "Sometimes the most important discoveries arise from chance encounters," Ziv said. "Your emergency has led to improved care for countless patients across multiple species." As Jack prepared to depart the following day, he was presented with an upgraded medical kit for his ship and a formal certificate recognizing his contribution to interspecies medical knowledge. "This certificate names you an honorary consultant to the Xanthi Medical Network," Trell explained. "Should you encounter any Xanthi facility in your travels, you will be accorded appropriate recognition." Jack accepted the certificate with genuine gratitude. "Thank you all. What started as the worst day of my latest cargo run turned into something pretty amazing. We hope you will continue to share information with us as human microbiome research advances," Lorne said. "The exchange of knowledge benefits all spacefaring species." "Count on it," Jack promised. "My gut bacteria and I are happy to contribute to science." As Jack's ship pulled away from the station and set course for Earth, he reflected on how a painful appendicitis attack had led to an ongoing dialogue between species. His emergency had exposed a critical gap in alien understanding of human biology, a gap that, if left unfilled, could have had deadly consequences for future human patients. Now, thanks to curious Xanthi medical officers willing to question their assumptions, humans traveling through this sector of space had access to medical care that recognized their unique biology, symbiotic bacteria and all. Jack set the autopilot and patted his stomach gently. "Well, little friends," he said to his trillions of invisible passengers, "looks like we've become interstellar diplomats. Not bad for a cargo hauler and his microbiome." With that thought bringing a smile to his face, Jack settled in for the long journey home, carrying not just his cargo, but a deeper appreciation for the complex relationship between humans and the microscopic allies that had been with them every step of their evolutionary journey to the stars.